Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. So, today's topic is a trainer education, but this is definitely applicable to everybody in the concept. And our topic is battling burnout. So this can be for a trainer, for people in business, for people who just kind of feel like there's a lot going on in their life. They have a lot of demands placed upon them, and they're struggling to meet those demands while also taking care of their own needs. So, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss as a trainer how you can battle burnout, and then these general lessons would apply to anybody, but I'm going to be giving kind of trainer-specific applications, but again, it's kind of something we all could benefit from. So this has actually helped my outside the gym life, outside of business life, immensely more than it has helped in the gym. So this is stuff that's made a big difference for me to find happiness and contentment, and how I learned how to be able to handle even more workload as my business grew. So the stuff I do nowadays would probably blow my young mind back whenever I started this gym. So I started the gym when I was 27, and it was definitely overwhelmed with things that were far less than what I deal with now. So I've been fortunate to kind of learn some lessons, some the easy way and some the hard way, and I want to kind of share that with you guys. So, the first thing we got to look at, though, is we do have some past podcasts that will help with this. So if you haven't listened to these yet, you definitely want to check them out. And we have number 111. It's titled, You Are Your First Client. And that's going to help with the idea of creating me time and the idea of filling your cup. So if we think of ourselves as we have love, patience, intelligence, we have things we can give to other people. And when we think of what we can give, you can think of that as like water in a cup. And you want to pour a little bit of the water out for this person, pour a little bit of the water out for that person. And that's what you do every day. You pour water out into other people's cups so that they can have some benefit. But there is a finite amount to what you can fit in your cup. So once you run dry, it's going to go pretty rough. And that's typically what happens when people burn out. So our hope is that, through exercise, food, and sleep, we're refilling that cup every day. But as we all know, when you get super busy and overwhelmed with life, quality nutrition kind of goes down. All of a sudden you're not exercising as regularly, or you're not getting the same kind of emotional, mental release from it as you normally would, because you're still kind of on edge in your brain. So you're not getting that same release, therefore you're not getting the same refilling of your cup. So if you treat yourself as your first client, that'll make sure that your cup starts each day at a full, okay? And that way you can better help other people. So, it is not selfish to take care of yourself. It is actually stupid, and it helps no one to create yourself as a martyr and think that you have to die to try to help other people. That's absolutely stupid. There's no religion that says that you need to, I shouldn't say that. I have studied other religions, but not to a degree in which I can probably make a very confident blanket statement. So, but as for Christianity, if you are driven through Christianity, your belief of God wanting you to help other people, no point in any time does God say that you need to be miserable and hate it. Okay? So, even if you have a religious aspect to wanting to help people, God does not tell you to live a miserable life. He wants you to have a purposeful, happy life in the way in which you can help other people. Now, if you're not doing it out of religion, you feel good and it excites you to help other people, well, then you have to recognize that you can only help people if you have something to give. If you are wearing yourself out, you're having less and less and less to give, so therefore you won't be able to help them. So by sacrificing yourself for others, you're actually doing a less service to the other people as well. You have less quality to give, you have less amount to give. So the best way to help other people is to first help yourself. Cool. So number 248, titled To Be Successful, Be Yourself. And that'll help alleviate some stress from trying to pretend to be somebody else or try to be someone else, something else. Get away from the idea of having to live this fake life or try to live up to expectations of others or all that crap. So you're going to be much more successful not only in business but also in your personal life and just life in general when you learn to just be yourself and be okay with that. And not everybody's going to like you, and not everybody will like you when you try to be fake. Not everybody will like you when you try to be yourself, so you might as well just be yourself. Okay? So there's that phrase of not even God can please everybody, because some days people pray for rain and some people pray for sunshine. So what is he going to do? You know? So if God can't do it, neither can you. So just be yourself, and that's going to alleviate a lot of anxiety for you, a lot of stress, and a lot of worrying and wondering. So in business and in interactions with other people, just do what you would do. You know, do what you think you would want best done for you. So there's that golden rule of do unto others as you'd have done unto you. So treat other people how you'd want to be treated, and for the most part, that's going to be the best way to live life. Okay. The last one we got is number 256, one we just made recently, called Overcoming Leadership Anxiety. So if you are having life stress and you're feeling burned out due to just having like an influx of new clients, like are your current clients happy? How are you going to keep your clients happy? Like, are you qualified? We always have that kind of like fear that, you know, maybe we're not as good as we think we are, or you don't think you're good enough. That podcast will help you get over that anxiety and recognize that you are there to help them. They just want help. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be able to help. That's it. So if you just know a smidge more than they do, just share that smidge, and you've done your part. Okay? So those are the things that we've already talked about that absolutely 100% do help prevent burnout. So please check those out if you have not. Then what we're going to talk today about is kind of the idea of setting schedules and trying to hold ourselves and other people accountable to our schedule. So I want to kind of give a little bit of background about what I've been through and kind of help you guys decide how this can best apply to you. So when I first started this gym, I came out of college, by the way. I came out of grad school and just went right into this. So I graduated grad school in December of 2010, and I started this gym in February of 2011. So I decided to open up a gym on Thanksgiving weekend. So I took the month of December and January, got everything sorted out, and thought I knew enough to get going. So I opened the gym actually February 14th of 2011. So it was a Valentine's Day gift to myself. That was not the best way to open a business. So there is a book I'm going to tell you guys about at the end of this, and it's called E-Myth Revisited. It's kind of a business structure book that's very helpful. And they talk about the roles in which people play in a business. There's like the people who are the business owner, there are the people who work in the business. There's like different categories of people. And one of them is considered a technician, where you're the person who does the work of the business. That doesn't mean that you should be the owner of the business. So just because I love personal training doesn't mean I should have opened a personal training center. Now, it has worked out, and I'm actually happy I did it, and all that good stuff. However, it was one hell of a learning curve, because I was smart enough to know enough to get going, but I was also lucky that I didn't know enough that would have held me back. So, but I had to learn how to be an accountant, I had to learn how to do social media marketing, I had to learn how to do, a janitor, so I had to learn how to deal with just people promising you things and never following through. I remember when I first opened the gym, people didn't put equipment back. Like, they would come into the gym, they'd put plates on a machine, then they'd leave, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? Like, you just use that. Why didn't you put things away? And it completely, 100% didn't dawn on me that people didn't do that. So yes, that is ridiculous that I didn't understand this, but I just assumed people put stuff away. And holy crap, was I an idiot. So very quickly we had to make rules for the gym, and one of the rules was put your shit away. And I can't believe even to this day that I have to tell people that. So, but that was one of the things, a very small playful aspect of what I didn't know when I started the business. But so when I did start, all the bills were in my name. I just signed away my life, and there was a lot of money coming out of my bank account every month, and it was my job to make sure that money was in there. So I started training clients, and I trained people for $20 an hour. Yes, that's $20 an hour in a market where, in the community I'm in, various prices usually range between $50 to $80 an hour. So I undercut everybody, and just said, what the hell, I got to prove myself. So I have to prove what I know to people, and what's going to get them through the door isn't me saying, hey, I'm good, come see me. I'll just figure I'd make it cheaper than everybody else, and they'd probably come and check it out at least. So when they started coming, I was starting to get busy. I was training 50 hours a week in-person clients. And that wasn't like half of it on a treadmill. The whole damn thing, the whole hour was face-to-face. So my schedule when I first started, Monday through Friday, was I'd have clients from 7 a.m. to noon. I would take noon to 2 to eat, answer some phone call stuff, try to squeeze in a nap if I could. I'd then have clients from 2 to 8. And then from 8 to 11 or midnight, I would do paperwork, janitorial stuff, all the crap that added up throughout the day, clean the gym, do all that. And then from 12 to 6, I would sleep. And I did that for 3 or 4 years. And I was absolutely miserable. And if somebody asked me at that time, would I have opened up the gym if I'd have known this to be the way it was, I would have said, hell freaking no. This is miserable. So, and it was just that's what I chose, whether I realized that I chose it or not. So when I decided to open a gym, the decision was made that my name is on papers, I owe people money, and this is what has to be done. So I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to get to 50 hours a week of clients, so that made me okay money. And then I started getting just ridiculously overwhelmed and destroyed by that. So, and I even had my clients telling me you were not charging enough. So my own clients actually begged me to charge them more because they could tell that I was just dying. So I bumped my rates up to $30 an hour, and no one left. Now that sounds like an awesome, amazing, wonderful thing. So I just increased my money by 50%, I just charged 50% more, but no one left. So I still had 50 hours a week of clients and all the janitorial stuff and programming and all this stuff. And it was awesome to have such amazing, wonderful people. So I'm still extremely grateful to the people who helped me during that time by becoming my clients. But that was, at one point in time, my schedule. I did it for years. That was 50 hours of in-person clients a week. You then had to be the accountant, you had to be the janitor, I had to figure out when the hell would I train myself. So I was still training 3 to 4 times a week around that. And that would be where, oh man, maybe on, if somebody would miss, I'd hurry up and, say somebody canceled, I'd try to, work out during that hour if I could. Even if it was just a 20-minute shoulder workout or something, it still counted. Maybe some days I had a really good friend of mine, and we would try to squeeze in a workout during that 12 to 2 slot. So I'd train for 5 hours, we'd shove food in our face, try to train for 30 minutes, and I'd train for another 6 hours. And it was what was needed, it was what was done, and I'm a stronger man for having gotten through that. And there are people who have done way worse in their life and have done it for way longer. So I will try not to bitch too much. And also, if you're getting paid to just stand and talk to people and share something you love, you can't bitch that much, okay? So I used to have a construction job, which was outside in jeans and covered in bugs and sweat. So this is a job, at least I'm in AC. So we didn't actually have AC the first 2 years, so I couldn't afford it. However, by the 3rd or 4th year, we could afford it, so it worked out. So that was my schedule at first. Now, what I get to do is I push through those years, and I'm fortunate enough now where I get to make a little more variety to my schedule, and I get to set kind of the way I want things done. So now my schedule is 7 to 8 a.m. I do my podcast, and that typically allows me a little extra time to answer a couple emails and texts from clients. I then have a client from 8 to 9 every day, and then I have my own training time from 9 to 12. So it is now scheduled that I have time for me to train. Then I train my mom actually 12 to 1. I have 1 to 2 to eat at 1 to 2 o'clock. And then from 2 to 7, I do business. Whether it's training clients, whether it's answering emails, whether it's running programs, I do what I got to do in that time frame. And then I go home, 7 to 10 o'clock is my family time and relaxation, quote unquote, and then 11 to 6 is sleep. So that's my schedule now. And what's cool about this schedule is I've gotten fortunate enough now to where I learned how I work and sometimes how I don't work in my laziness. So I used to have my schedule set up to where I didn't meet with clients until noon. But I am a lazy human being, and when I have the chance to sleep in, I will sleep in because I hate getting up. So what I found is without having the discipline of having the podcast and a client between that 7 and 9 time frame, I wouldn't be disciplined enough to get up at 6 or 5:30, depending on which day it is. So I knew myself, and I knew that I had to schedule something earlier in the day that would force me to get my lazy butt up out of bed. So now I'm up, it forces me to get a meal or two in, get some liquid in, so then by 9 o'clock I've already had a little bit of food and calories in me. I've had enough to get me to the gym and get me awake, but nothing has worn me out. And part of the reason why I have this schedule is over the years I've torn 17 muscles, 7 ligaments, and broken some bones. So if I wait till the end of the day to train, it's just basically doing rehab because my body's too stressed. So if I train earlier in the day, I have less that I have to fix before I start my workout. So it allows me to just have better quality of training. So now that seems all wonderful that I'm able to make my schedule the way it is, and it 100% is wonderful. However, there still needs to be reinforcement of that schedule. So if you look at your life and you have your schedule, no matter what schedule you have compared to me or someone else or whatever, is we all have an ideal goal of how we want our day to go. So my day will do this, then I will do this, then I will do this. And we have like a pattern to our day. We have time frames. We have an idea of how we want our day to go. The problem is the rest of the world doesn't know that. And the rest of the world has their own schedule. And sometimes theirs contradicts with yours, and they don't give a shit what yours is. So, and especially if they don't know. People cannot read your mind, so that's probably a good thing. But people can't read your mind, so if you don't tell people that they're interrupting your time, they won't know that. There is no way they will know that. You'll be an asshole to them, and you'll be mad at them. But they won't have a clue that they did anything wrong. Now, I'm talking more to myself than I am to anybody else. But that's what I had to learn as a trainer was, so for example, my new time of being 9 to 12 for my training, 9 to 12 is a highly active time for business. There are people who want my attention. There are texts, there are emails, there are people coming to the door. I'm lucky enough that our gym operates on a key card system, so the doors are actually locked to the gym. So thankfully, no one can get in unless I want them to get in. And however, there are still some times where like maybe a member needs something. So I think I just said this in a recent podcast, but I had a member come in and they wanted to update their card information, but it was between 9 and 12. That was my time. That's not business time. So I didn't help that request. That could have been done at a different time, so therefore I made sure it was done at a different time. So you have to be responsible enough to your schedule to protect your schedule. So how do you do that? Is one of the ways is you have to tell other people what your schedule is. So the first rule of Brutal Iron Gym is do not interrupt Rob while he's working out. Not everybody plays by that rule, and I have kicked people out in the past for that rule. Some of the people who don't play by that rule right now, I don't think they can mentally comprehend that they're not supposed to talk to me. So I don't feel happy about kicking people out who are maybe mentally not all the way there. And I'm being a total sarcastic asshole, by the way. But some people don't totally adhere to it, but they don't do it too often, and they're really nice people, so I don't kick them all the way out. But the point of that is why I would want to have my own time and not have it being interrupted. It goes back to that lesson I told you about filling your cup. So I cannot be a good gym owner. I cannot be a good person if I am worn out and my cup is empty all the time. So for me, emotionally and mentally, working out refills my cup. I need to have that time. And what I'm asking people to do is just respect that need of my life and give me that space. And any member of the gym will tell you that I will help you outside of that time. You can shoot me an email, text, or whatever. I'll get back to you eventually. I'll send you the information. I'll get it sorted out. But not during my training time. And that's the point. So it's not being selfish. Some people are going to see it that way, but I don't really give a shit. So I know what I'm doing it for. And I see the benefits of when I do enforce it is I am a happier person, I'm a nicer person, I help more people. I can do a better job at life, not only at my job as a trainer as well. So you have to protect your own time. It's not being selfish. And part of that is telling other people. So I have that time set where people don't bother me. So if you're in a commercial gym, so I used to train at other gyms, and I'd have headphones in, and when somebody would interrupt me and they're like, hey man, I just want to ask you, like, what's a couple good bicep exercises? And I'd say, hey, you know what, I'm actually training myself right now. So why don't you shoot me an email or text later on and remind me, and then I'll send you that information. Now, that is hard to do. You might not sound like it's a hard thing to do, but it's hard not to want to people please and just try to help them out. But then you get resentful, you get angry, and then you carry that anger into the next like 40 minutes of your workout when you should be fine, and you get resentful towards other people, you try to avoid other people. If you can just be disciplined enough to say, hey, this is my time, why don't you communicate with me at a different time and I'll help you. And the benefit of making them email or text you is if it's not that important, they won't do it. So you'll be amazed at how many times people will interrupt you just because something is on their mind, not because it's actually important. Okay? So, little phrases like that help a ton. Now, if you say, yeah, but I work for such and such company, if they hear that I'm, shrugging people off, they're not going to be happy with me. Well, tell them why. Say, hey, I work all day for you guys. I want this gym to be successful, but I need my time. And part of that is not answering all the clients' emails and, questions and stuff when they're in person. So if I can have this time for me, I'll always get back to them, and I'll actually get back with them with even a better answer than what I could have given them at that time. So at the time, what are you going to do? Just give some exercise examples, and then they just have to kind of take your name of the exercise and go with it. Whereas if you answer it later, you can send them a video of that exercise. You can maybe even send them a whole arm workout. So if you work for someone else, explain to them that benefit. That, hey, you know what, I can actually give them a better answer if I do it later on. And then say, I'm protecting myself so I can be happier and do better for this business. And if they don't agree with that, screw them. So you keep living your life. They'll fire you if you don't produce. But guess what? If you follow this, like what I'm saying here, is you'll be the best producing trainer in that gym. They'll never fire you. I know firsthand because I've been that trainer. Okay? So you have to protect your schedule by telling other people when you are or are not available. Okay? Now, the other thing is you have to protect your schedule from your damn self. So you have to stay off social media. You can't be texting friends. You can't be dilly-dallying while you're supposed to be doing certain jobs. So we have our training aspect, sure, but what about when you're doing client programming? When I have like 3 hours blocked off, I'm supposed to be just writing programming, I turn my phone on silent and I turn the damn thing face down to the table. And you'll be amazed. You just get into this swing of work and about 40 minutes goes by and you're fine. You did really well. Now, if your phone has the volume on or even on vibrate and the screen is up, you will get distracted over and over and over again. Okay, somebody will send you a text, you'll hear the phone vibrate, then you'll want to look, but maybe you're trying to be disciplined and then you won't look, but then it's still in your mind, then eventually you look, and then that will seem like an easier thing to do than the job you're doing of programming. So our body and our mind are ridiculously lazy. They're predictably lazy. So if I'm doing a difficult task and I'm interrupted with an easy task, you will talk yourself into doing the easy thing because, oh, well, the person needs their answer. Or, oh, this will be helpful. Or, oh, I'll just take 5 minutes. Bullshit. None of that is true. You need to do the hard thing, and you need to do the hard thing when it's scheduled to do. So turning your phone off and putting it face down makes a huge difference. That way you can protect your schedule from yourself. Okay? Now, that is hard to do, but the more you implement these rules, the more you can enforce your time frame of when you want to get things done, the better you'll be able to get things done, the less anxiety and stress you'll feel. Okay? And you're going to have a better control over your life. That'll help you prevent burnout. Okay? So you need to block off and schedule when you need work done. So I've talked about this before in past podcasts is we all know the idea of making to-do lists, but when are you going to do it? So when you do a to-do list, you have to write down the time of it that you estimate it'll take, and then schedule that into your schedule. So if I'm like, okay, I need to write, Stacy a program, that's great and all, but when the hell are you going to do that? So if you look at your schedule and you go, oh, okay, after I train Chris, it looks like I might have like a 45 or an hour break, I'll hurry up and put Stacy's work in there. So that's when you plan it. So you have the to-do list, but you have to do when to do it, okay? So you got to schedule both parts. So now that you have your schedule, you have things blocked, you have things, kind of planned, then you have to reinforce that and protect that schedule by telling others what's going on, and then by telling yourself to be adherent to those time frames, okay? And then also, the last component you want to do is to track how well you're doing, okay? So I have daily things. I've talked about this a bunch in past podcasts. I have checklists, and to where, did I work out today? It's either check or an X. I either did or I didn't. There's no bullshit excuses. There's no room for writing in excuses. You either did or you didn't. Then I have continuing education things. Did I learn something new today? Did I apply a new knowledge today? Then I have things for working on my business. How do you grow your business? What's the new business you're going to bring in? Then there's things for working into your business. How do you take care of the people you already have? How do you make the money that you're already making, let alone trying to make more money? Okay? So you have to work on the business, you have to work in the business. And then you have to have time for family and relationships. So all of these things need to be addressed, and there's many more. But they all need to be addressed, and they all need to be tracked. So in my phone right now, I have 4 things that I track. And there are things that if I do or don't do every day, I get a check or an X. And they're kind of the biggest 4 that I'm working on in my personal life and business life right now. And I just know every single day I can pull up that chart and say, oh man, I only got 5 good days last week. That's bullshit. I want to see if I can get 6 or 7 this week. You know, if I screw it up and only got 3 good ones, then I know I'm being a lazy ass. I need to get better at that. But there's no excuses. There's no, oh, I think I'm doing well. There's no self-lying bullshit. You look at the chart, you see what you did, it's fact. Okay? So that helps a ton to just know what the truth of things are. No one cares about your excuses. No one gives a shit why things didn't get done. They either got done or they didn't. Okay? So don't lie to yourself. Don't excuse away anything you're not doing. If you know it needs done, then freaking do it. Okay? It's that simple. Set your schedule, protect your schedule, get your shit done. Boom. So, burnout will happen when you, number 1, lose your health or goals. Okay, when you no longer feel like you have an identity, you no longer feel like you have anything for yourself. You're just running around for everybody else. That will create burnout. Okay? And the other form of burnout is feeling overwhelmed. There's too much to do and not enough time to do it. So both of those, the beautiful part about this is, both of those are fully within your control. Everyone on the planet has the same 24 hours, and there are amazingly successful people with those 24 hours, and there are amazingly unsuccessful people who whine and bitch and have a million excuses of why their 24 hours aren't good enough. Why they're so damn special they need more than 24 hours, even though millionaires, billionaires, CEOs, even people who are successful in things other than money, they're successful in their relationships. They have a good enough job, but they have a great relationship with their kids. They have a great relationship with their wife, spouse, whatever. They have a great relationship with friends. They are super successful in that. They all have the same 24 hours. So next time you're going to say that I don't have enough time, or I wish there was more time in the day, just slap yourself in the face, call yourself an idiot, and fix it. Okay? We all have the same 24 hours. Just get your shit done. That's it. So everything is within your control. And how you can kind of better this, okay, better understand what I'm saying here, is there are 3 really good books that I want you to read. Okay? You can do audiobooks or you can read them. Number 1 is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. So the title again is Extreme Ownership. What you'll learn from that book is everything is your fault. And you want everything to be your fault. For everything that's going wrong in your life, you want to blame yourself. Because if you are to blame, then you are in control of fixing it. You are able to fix it and correct it. Again, if everything is your fault, then it's under your control. So find a way to blame yourself for everything in your life. And that way you can find a way to correct it. Okay? If it's someone else's fault, then you have to wait for someone else to fix it. Are they ever going to fix it? Hell no. No one fixes anything. Okay? So if you wait for other people to fix your life, you'll be waiting until you're dead. Okay? It's not their responsibility to fix your life. They're busy trying to fix their own damn life. So everything is your fault. Own up to it, fix it, address it. Okay? The next book is The Power of Full Engagement by Jim Loehr. It's Loehr is his last name. And the book title again is The Power of Full Engagement. What I love about that book, I bought like 4 or 5 copies and sent to friends, is that it's not time management that everybody messes up. It's energy management. Okay? Like I said, we all have 24 hours. Why are some people better at 24-hour stuff than other people? It's not that there's a differing hours, right? It's not time. We all have the same damn amount of time. What some people manage better than other people is their energy. So if you can get your mindset and your energy managed, you will crush life. You will be the most badass person on the planet, okay? So stop looking at time management and start looking at energy management. Cool. The last one you got for business is E-Myth Revisited.